We're going to get into our second speaker of the event. This is Dr. Renee McSwain, an acupuncturist. Dr. Renee McSwain is the CEO and owner of Sage Light Integrative Wellness Center, a doctor of Oriental medicine, licensed acupuncturist and Chinese herbalist. She received her doctorate in acupuncture and Oriental medicine from Maryland University of Integrative Health and her Master's of Science Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine, also from Maryland University of Integrative Health in 2018. With over 25 years of experience spanning healthcare and media, she has led national health communication campaigns for federal agencies while advocating for greater awareness of complementary healing therapies. Dr. McSwain also brings extensive expertise in leadership development and wellness education, having taught courses in stress management, nutrition, mental health, and workplace wellness. In her free time, she enjoys coloring in coloring books and traveling to warm climates. Can we get a round of applause for Dr. McSwain?
So I have the interesting task of keeping you guys awake after your sugar rush and to teach you something that you may or may not be familiar with. So, how many people have tried acupuncture before? Great. And what were some of the reasons that you decided to go? Was it more like a physical ailment, pain, something like that? Infertility, great. So acupuncture, Chinese medicine, is over 2,000 years old. And so the prescriptions that we do for herbally as well as point prescription, and that is based on your meridian system, is very well versed and very steeped in a history, a very rich history. So the reason why I got into Chinese medicine, I never intended ever to do healthcare, ever, like ever. Because my mom was a nurse and she worked in the heart center. And so my introduction to healthcare was seeing people at very debilitating, sick times. And so I was like, oh, I don't want anything to do with that. I didn't associate that healthcare was actually also part of holistic care. So I was always naturally attuned to herbs. I remember getting like the little teen magazines. I'm a Gen Xer, so we would, have the little teen magazines, and they would talk about all of the herbal things you could do, how to steam your face, how to open your pores, and I was like always pouring stuff into a bowl and like trying to breathe it in and all of that stuff. And then I remember my mom bringing a book home that I still have today of 101 home remedies. And I scoured through it. It was just illuminating. And I grew up with a mom. We had aloe plants, we had all these different natural remedies to treat everyday things. But I didn't associate that with health. And so going forward, when I had my first child at 30, when he was 4 months old, I started having debilitating neck pain. And it came all of a sudden. Now, I've never been a big medicine person, but I was popping ibuprofen, going out of business, and I was getting the taste of it, my stomach was turning, but I didn't know what else to do. So I ended up going into the hospital, in the emergency room, to be treated because the neck pain became so excruciating. It felt like an ice pick that was stabbing in my neck. And so they ran a whole bunch of tests, they did x-rays, and they was like, we don't see anything. You're probably just stressed, take some Percocet, some ibuprofen, go home, relax. And I'm like, oh, okay, I don't even know what that means. And so when I got home, I started to have breathing problems. I started to get hives. And I knew from previous experience that I was having an anaphylactic reaction. And let me tell you about my anaphylactic reactions. I almost died at least 9 times for different things. 3 of them have been through medical anaphylactic reactions. So I knew immediately what was going on. Went back to the emergency room, Ended up getting epinephrine, laying there, and I'm like, my baby's at home, 4 months. I'm like, I have to do something different. And so what happened was, as I was exiting the emergency room, this time in a neck brace, because I literally could not turn my neck without pain. In the room that I was in, on the sink, was a stack of business cards. And I thought it was so odd because I wasn't in a lobby, I wasn't in a waiting area, I was in the room. And when I picked it up like this, because I can't do anything, it was to an acupuncturist. So, no matter what discipline of faith or belief system that you have, I know that there is nothing happenstance. Everything is divinely orchestrated. And that was orchestrated for me to be on the path that I'm in now. And so I picked up the card, I called, I was like, can you fit me in? They fit me in. I came in the next day with the neck brace. It was a tiny little woman, she was Polish, and she listened to my pulses, she looked at me, she asked me to stick out my tongue. I was like, she's a weirdo, but okay, whatever. And she's like, oh, the baby's depleted you so much. And then she went off into a little corner and she came back with a little tincture, put this under your tongue 4 times a day. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then she started needling my points in my head. I was like, what does this have to do with my neck? But okay. And she said, let's take the neck brace off. And I was like, no. Absolutely not. And she was like, please, please just trust me. And I did, and I took the neck brace off, and I was able to turn my head 30% both ways without pain. And I lost it, and I was just crying. I was a blubbering mess. I was like, I don't know what magical spell, voodoo, whatever you just did, but I was amazing. 2 treatments later, no neck brace, was able to walk out pain-free, and I had a new perspective. Now, this wasn't because she talked to me about what was going on in my life, the stress that I had, the ill-fit relationship that I was in. It was because she simply moved the energy and the chi and the circulation, and my perspective shifted. And I was forever changed because of that. And so I then became interested in, well, let me figure out what this path is. And then I became very fervent in holistic health. And at the time, I was working for a federal agency, and I was developing healthcare messages. And no offense or no for pharmaceutical or Western medical side, because it's very important, but there was nothing in there that spoke to my experience. And especially in Black and brown communities, we don't get access to that information enough. And so when I went to go find my acupuncturist retired, I went to go and find another acupuncturist, and there was a school nearby my house, and I was like, oh, I'll just go to a student clinic. And then I started reading about the program and how they use what is based in nature to align to what's happening with inside of you and the emotional perspective. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And so I ended up signing up. I got in with 3 kids, a whole bunch of responsibility. I was teacher, I was professor at Stevenson University. Like, I had all kind of stuff. Like, I didn't have time to get a doctorate, okay? I just did not have time. My youngest was probably 2 at the time. Talking about ambitious, okay? But I did it, and it was the most empowering and transformational experience I have ever experienced. And in order for me to prepare to step into a treatment room with somebody else, I had to go through all my stuff. All my mama, my daddy issues, my inner child. We used to call those classes, we sat in the circle, Cry Sophia. Because the school used to be called Thai Sophia, but we had Cry Sophia classes. And so that was so that I am not triggered when I'm sitting across from someone with a similar experience, and that I can then help them find the clarity they need, just like I found the clarity I need. So I took the time to tell you that I'm very passionate about what I do, and I know that there are not safe spaces for us as women, for highly ambitious women, that women that carry the weight of the world on their shoulders, that women are always making sure that everyone else has. We don't have safe places to go to say, I'm a freaking mess. I want to cry. I'm still dealing with things that happened to me a long time ago. And why is this showing up in my knee? Right? Because everything starts in an energetic, it trickles down into the emotional, and then it gets to the physical. So by the time it is at the physical, at a pain or a chronic something, trust me, you have had years of it matriculating, right? It just getting more and more and more and more prominent until your body is like, you better pay attention. In fact, I'm going to shut you all the way down until you pay attention to this. And so what I do is, yes, do I get people out of pain? Absolutely, because you got to focus. But then from there, how do we get here? Because your knee pain is a symptom, but what happened before? And so as we start to move the chi and the blood carries the memories, right, from what you experienced directly as well as generationally what you experienced, right, what has come down through the DNA. Epigenetics is now proving that. Chinese people knew, and I preface to say indigenous medicine knew a long time ago, right? But thanks for catching up, we appreciate it. So what I want to talk about today is how do you do summer, right? And how do you thrive in the season of summer, and what does that mean inside of you? So I brought these little handy handouts, and this is really just for points of reference for you guys, because I might be talking about concepts that may seem foreign, and it's nice to have diagrams. Now, if you can see that print, then God bless you, because I could not. But I was like, maybe your eyes are a bit better than mine. So I'm gonna have my little readers while we talk today, because I'm perimenopause, and after 40, I was welcome to the Progressive Club. That's what the lady told me at the eye doctor. She was like, welcome to the Progressive Club. So what does that mean? She was like, bifocals, honey. I was like, oh no, I don't want to be nowhere near the club. No, thank you. So now, not only do I have that, but I'll have to wear readers, so bear with me. So what does it mean to thrive in the summer based in Chinese medicine? It's passing around, I think. Or is it not? Some more? Oh, look what they have. Thank you. So, what does it mean to thrive in accordance to Chinese medicine? So everything in Chinese medicine is based on the principles of yin and yang. What is yin and yang? So, according to Chinese medicine, yin is dark. It is the moon. It's the feminine energy. It is rest and restoration. It is water. It is how we restore ourselves. It's connected to the kidneys and the bladder system, organ systems, and it is our way of restoration. Yang is what we are experiencing now in the height of the summer. We're about to have solstice, the summer solstice, which is the peak of the summertime. In Eastern philosophy, in Western philosophy, it is the start of summer. Yang is masculine oriented, it is the sun, it is active, it is doing. Yin and yang is about balancing the both. It is all in relationship to one another. One can't do one without the other, right? So it is this interdance that yin and yang does. Out of yin and yang births the 5 elements. And the elementals are an energetic base that shows up in the physical. So we are in the summertime. So we are in the fire element. And the fire element is all about interconnectivity. It is what we're doing now. We're gathering, we're sharing, we're connecting, we're hugging, we're going to the cookouts, right? We're engaged, right? It is the fullness of the bloom of what we planted, what we germinated over the winter, what we planted in the spring, and then what is start to blossom in the summer. That is how fire shows up in the physical. Now, how does it show up in us? Well, we connect all of the elementals to specific organ systems. And in the fire element, there are 4 organ systems that are involved in that. And when I say organ system, I mean the physical organ itself, but then we're also talking about the energetic highways or pathways, which are meridians. And so if I should have brought my little man, there are 360 acupuncture points that we work with. There are over 1,000 in different sets of points. And so we connect to the energetic function in circulation and blood and chi and gateways of energy based on those meridian points. And so with that, the organ systems involved with the fire is the heart, the small intestine, the triple energizer, which is not an official but unofficial organ system. Is really the temperature regulator in our body, and the pericardium. And so why the fire gets so much credit is because of the heart. So the heart, the organ, and the organ system, all of the organ and the meridians have 3 levels. It is an emotional level, a physical level, and a spiritual level. So when I'm accessing a point on your body, on the heart channel or any channel, I'm accessing it from a physical component, from an emotional, psycho-emotional component, and a spiritual component. Now, spirit can be the animation of there is more than just this meat suit to me, but spiritual is also what we have been stuck in. So oftentimes when I work with patients and they're like, oh, well, I've always been like that. Really? Maybe, but maybe it's a combination of how you were raised, the environment, and then generationally what has been passed down. So what we want to do is, if there has been blockages in your life on a spirit level, and that could be, I choose the same person over and over and over and over again, right? Or I have all these ideas, but I can't quite seem to, I get started, I'm energetic about it, but then I can't get to the finish line. Or I've been trying to get my degree for 20 years, right? That can then turn into a spirit level because you're not now stepping into your fullness, into your Tao, into your purpose, into your soul mission. So we got to work through that to understand the why. So with that, what is the fire element? It represents transformation, light, warmth, light, vitality. It's associated with the summer. It also plays a crucial in balancing our body and our mind. All the heart, the small intestine, the pericardium, the triple energizer. And it corresponds with our vibrancy. It corresponds to the tongue. Not only can we actually speak our truth and be authentic, right? But can we actually come into a place that we're not even mincing our words, right? We even look at people that have some stuttering problems as that could be a deficiency in the heart. So the heart leads up to the tongue. There's even a Bible quote, I'm paraphrasing, right? But basically we're speaking, right? There's life and death in the tongue. Right? And so we're speaking from our heart. Are we speaking from an authentic place? So, how does that necessarily show up physically? So if you look at this little picture of Reese Witherspoon. This is a typical shape of a heart or fire constitution. So we break this up to constitutional nature. This is how a person actually behaves, how they physically show up, what are the emotions they deal with. And so as you can see, she has a heart-shaped face. Like literally, if you would just draw a heart, you can see that her heart face is, and her eyes are vibrant. So with that, heart constitutions or fire constitutions are passionate, they're enthusiastic, they're energetic, they're driven, they are sociable and charismatic. These are the people when you go to the dinner party, they be like, oh my God, Sally, I'm so glad to meet you. You know what? Oh, what do you do? Oh my God, you know, well, Jessica over here, you know, she could be a good, those are those people, right? They are always socializing, they are always connecting. Now, we all have all 5 elements. So in each one of us, there is a fire inside of you. There is a social connector. There is a person that is energetic and enthusiastic. There is this center of joy. We have all 5 elements inside of us. And the key is, how do we balance it, right? Acupuncture, Chinese medicine is all about balance. And so we go too far to the left or the right, and imbalance will occur. So with that, I'm not even going to go through the body types. You guys can see and read about the different fire types. But what I want to get to is, how do you support the fire element within you? And we talked a lot today about nutrition. And so Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine are very interested in systems. So we are in the West very much about the micro and the macronutrients and getting our smoothies and supplements and things like that. And all of those things are great, and I'm not poo-pooing any of that because that's needed. But in Chinese medicine, we are really about whole foods. How can we take less supplements and get it more from the outside environment, the sun, the food, the drink, the air, our activity, right? But also, how do we support our digestive system? So with that, red fruits, vegetables, tomatoes, strawberries, all those things are good. Bitter greens are going to help because bitter drives out heat. And so as you can see, it's 1 billion degrees outside, and it's hot and it's humid. And that will be stored in the body. That can present as edema, that could present as, you know, we were inflamed in some way, we may have some indigestion, all those things. Bitter foods like arugula, dandelion can help drive out the heat that we're absorbing from outside. Cooling foods like cucumbers, watermelon, mint, which also are in season. And avoid spicy, too spicy, and greasy food. So I know y'all want to go to the cookout and eat the fried chicken. I'm not going to tell you not to, but do it in moderation. So see if you're going to eat fried chicken, get something that's going to cut, like do it with some arugula, do it with something that's actually going to balance things out. Also, we want to avoid cold nature food. I think this sister right here was saying her comfort food was ice cream.
Yes.
Yes? And of course, this is 1 billion degrees. You want to have ice cream, right? But if you think about it from just a regular perspective, your body is a typical temperature of what? 98.5, 0.6, something around there, right? So when we are eating things that are cold in nature, that means eating a lot of raw foods, as well as cold as temperature. What do you think when you put that inside of you, your body has to do? It has to heat it up, right? Your body, your digestive fire has to heat up. in order to start to break that food down, warm it up so that they could actually absorb the nutrients. Now that's okay for a one-off, but over time, it starts to overwork the system. And when that happens, then our digestive system starts to get sluggish. And when that happens, then we start to absorb a lot of phlegm and mucus in the body, right? And then it starts to not to circulate the way it should. So we always say, I would like, if you want to eat salads, go for it. But put something hot on top of it. So this could be blackened salmon, this could be warm couscous, whatever the choice is. But make sure that there is a mixture of, again, the yin and the yang. The yin is cold, the yang is hot. You want to make it warm, right? It's all about the balance. So what should we be doing as far as movement? Well, obviously doing some cardio every day. This could be walking, running is okay. I'm not saying don't run, but you could do the elliptical. But other cultivating techniques such as Tai Chi. How many people have done Tai Chi before? Qigong. Great. So those things are cultivating in nature. It pays attention to the meridian system and it starts to move the energy in the circulation. It also helps to balance you spiritually. So a lot of times, I have 3 boys and they've all been through Kung Fu, Taekwondo, what's the other one? Jiu-Jitsu, all of, they've just been through everything. But it's really about this cultivation of the person. So as they say, martial arts or Kung Fu is life. It's not just about the physical activity. So you want to have, in your meditation, you can have mindful movement such as Tai Chi and Qigong. Yoga is another one. How many people like the yoga? Oh, good. Okay, beautiful. So, sleep. I think I've heard that maybe, I don't know, how many times today? 6 at least, right? People are having problems sleeping, which is an epidemic in our society, mainly because we spend too much time on screens. We haven't even got the science back yet to see what the real issues will be 20 years from now of us spending so much time on screens. So us being able to function in nature, because we are nature and what's happening outside is no different than what's happening inside of us. Go outside, walk, hug a tree, put your feet in the grass. Literally. Have you seen the TikToks where the people are like talking to the trees and the branches come out and like grab them, right? I'm gonna try that one day. Right? But literally, we are nature. We are not different energetically, right? And we are part of that. And that is something that our ancestors, that's part of our genetics. So we have to return to that and spending time in nature. If we do that and actually get some vitamin D naturally, right? Wear your sunscreen, but go outside, breathe some fresh air, do it when it's cooler outside. You will find that you will naturally set your rhythm to the circadian rhythm, and you'll actually start to get sleepy at night. So if you're having a problem falling asleep, it means your heart can't settle. You can't let go of the day. There's a trust factor that you haven't owned up to say, I can't let this day go because I got this deliverable, these people getting on my nerves, whatever the case may, I got this bill to pay, whatever. So part of that is settling the heart at night, which will introduce sleep hygiene habits. So I always tell people, get off the screen, at least an hour before bedtime. Read a book, get a bath, drink some tea, put on some aromatherapy, put on the Mindful app, whatever it is, just like how many people are mothers or parents. So when we get our kids ready for bed, when they're little, what do? Music. We're getting bath time, we're at reading stories, we're singing, whatever the case. I mean, you know, sometimes it's like, get into bed, like, you know, that's true too, right? But we try to create an environment, right, to establish routines so they know it's safe to let go of the day. We have to follow those same guidelines. We have to provide ourselves permission to let go of the day. So that means stop watching cat videos on TikTok and actually create that routine for yourself. Saying no to too many obligations, too many commitments, and restoring yin into our life. So I know you guys are ready to go. I'm not going to do a meditation because Dr. Esosa did so many beautiful meditations. Thank you. I was like, I'm going to need me a hammock in a minute. I was like, I had to be the last one to go, and I'm tired, I'm sleepy, I want to go to sleep. But if you guys want to scan in the back, there is some helpful tips that goes into more in depth on what you can do to support yourself during this time of year. So that is it from me. Do you all have any questions? Yes?
Is acupuncture safe for women who are pregnant?
Absolutely. I encourage it. We can help with so many symptoms of pregnancy, from an infertility to actually, if you decide to do IVF, we can help with that with the implantation, but we can also help to support the pregnancy, not only through acupuncture, but dietary therapy as well, and herbal therapy as needed. So yes, it's encouraged. Yes.
Where are you located?
We are in Howard County off Shaker Drive in Columbia. If you scan the QR code, it will pull up to the link tree, and you can also see our website from there. Yes? That's okay. You.
Can you kind of compare and contrast Reiki to acupuncture?
So Reiki is it's a Japanese, so it's an Asian-based energy medicine. And so it supports, they have that kind of own system of like where they align energy. It kind of aligns more to Ayurvedic because they use the chakras. Nonetheless, it is about moving energy that is stuck, and they use that by hands-off approach. Where acupuncture, we stab you with needles. Very hands-on. Yes, ma'am.
Do the stabbing with needles hurt?
So that's always an interesting question. So it depends on the practitioner. So the training that I have and most of my staff have is more Japanese based. So it is very shallow insertion. And we're trying to achieve the most by less needles and not stabbing you too hard, right? But if you go to a very traditional Chinese based, they will use thicker needles and longer needles, and they want to have you jump off the table. And that's like, oh, good, yeah, we're doing great. So it depends on the practitioner style. Some of the points do not hurt at all. You won't even feel it. Other points can be a little more special on the hands and the feet because all of the nerve endings are there. So it depends. That was our famous answer in school. And you're like, what if a person come to you with X, Y, Z, and always they were like, well, it depends. I'm like, oh God, here we go. But it depends, yes. Yes, ma'am.
About payments, is insurance not an option? Or?
Yes, so thankfully, my organization got a little more organized, and we lobbied and we got insurance to cover for acupuncture. So most major health insurances do cover for acupuncture. We also take HSA, FSA as well. Some of our other services, unfortunately, is not covered, but we still take HSA and FSA as well. Yes?
What do you do various modalities like electro?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do e-stim, we do gua sha, we do cupping. I think cupping became very popular when Michael Phelps walked out of the pool and he had all these things. In fact, you might actually see some of my faded cups So cupping is a lovely way that we use to break up stagnation in a particular area and help the circulation. So yes, we use a host of modalities in the session. Yes.
How many treatments would you recommend someone who's never done acupuncture before? Like, what's a good level?
Yeah, so it really depends on what you're coming in for. So if you're coming in for something more chronic that has been going for a while, you're going to require more sessions. That's just, because we're not just, putting the needles in. We're going through now a lifestyle adjustment as well, because a lot of times we don't know how our lifestyle, what we're doing, adds to it. If it's for more just kind of like, I just want a balancing, I always tell people when they come in, it's going to be a cycle of seasons. I'm going to see you pretty regularly for about a year, and that could depend. So it might be weekly for the first 8 to 10, and then we go to bi-weekly. And then ultimately, I really don't want to see you. Like, I really want you to go live your life, your best life. So you come in for seasonal tune-ups, right, when you need a little more support, 4 times a year, go live your life. And if you're going through something, someone unfortunately passed, or you're moving, whatever the case may be, you lost your job and you need extra support, come back in for more sessions. So it's kind of guided in that way. Yes.
Is this a year-round service, or is there a particular season that you would say it's heightened for you to do it, like energies?
No, it's a year-round season because we go through different things in the season, right? So when we're in the summer and we're in the full scope of things and but I guarantee you when the fall comes and it starts to get darker earlier, and you start to naturally get tired, and you're like, I don't know why I'm so tired, it's 4:30. And I'm like, well, what's happening outside? So it's like, what are we doing? Are the squirrels running around having a party at 7:30 at night? No, it's dark, right? Go to bed, like, what's wrong with you? So, people need support year round, absolutely. So we want you to season better, really, that's what the point is. Yes, time? Oh, she'll tell me to get out. So thank you all, ladies. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.